All right, man. We have a lot to talk about today. I do have other face cam videos where I filmed it off of Zoom, obviously. My playoff preview vids. Today, I'm just going to do my normal, voiceover, like 2K gameplay. But I have my Knicks Hawks playoff preview video ready and my Lakers Rockets playoff preview video ready as well. I'm going to be uploading those possibly later tonight, but I want to get this video out of the way because, man, was last night fun, bro. The Hornets Heat playing game was probably the best playing game I've ever watched. Yeah, there was, the Clippers Timberwolves game from 2022, and then those playing games with Golden State in 2021 where, excuse me, the Lakers beat them in a thriller, and the Memphis Grizzlies with a young John Morant beat them in a overtime thriller as well. So you had those games, but last night's game between the Hornets and the Heat, and you could also throw in the Suns and the Blazers too, but primarily the Hornets Heat game, bro. That was one of the best games I've ever watched this season, and you could say it is a game of the year candidate. Watching that game, I thought both teams did pretty well offensively, but both teams defensively were kind of trash. I mean, Charlotte kept on allowing easy drives or easy dribble penetration, which caused a lot of open threes. I mean, Davion Mitchell had a few open threes. Andrew Wiggins had a couple clutch threes as well. Khalil Ware and Tyler Hero, even though he had a contested three in overtime that he sunk. Same with Kobe White shot at the end of regulation, where I don't know, bruh. That shot that Kobe White hit was amazing, but I'll get to that when I'll get to that. The Miami Heat, on the other hand, they weren't all that in a bag of chips defensively either, because I'm rewatching Awful Coaching's video regarding the Hornets Heat playing game, and I'm kind of taking notes as I go along. The Heat were giving up so many open threes too, off of ball screens. Like, I don't know why on every ball screen the Heat drop every single time. The Heat just love playing drop coverage, and it caused guys like LaMelo Ball to hit a lot of threes. They were, well, I don't want to say they dodged a bullet because LaMelo eventually hit the game winner in overtime. But at the time, before OT, the Heat were lucky that LaMelo had a really bad shooting night. And that's also on LaMelo too, because the guy was taking so many dumb threes. This dude was 2 of 16 from 3. And a lot of those threes were just him just jacking up prayers for absolutely no reason. Some of those threes were early in the clock too. And whenever Miami went to a zone defense, their main problem was their lack of communication. Like, there was a play, and Alpha Coaching saw this too, where Khalil Ware was standing in the paint guarding no one, even though in that zone, if y'all know what play I'm talking about, this is when the Hornets were down 4 with 24 seconds left. Brandon Miller gets the 3 to fall. Khalil Ware, I thought, from what I'm assuming and from based on what Awful Coaching is saying, he was the one that's supposed to get out on the perimeter and get to Khalil Ware, or tell Tyler Hero to rotate to Brandon Miller, so that way the Heat weren't stuck in a 3-on-2, and Khalil Ware is just basically camping out in the paint, which I guess that's how Eric Spoelstra drew up his zone, but if that's his way of running his zone, it was poorly ran, bro. And based on the final box score, I'm looking at it right now, Andrew Wiggins played really well, 27 points. Davion Mitchell had 28. Tyler Hero actually was hitting some clutch shots in overtime, even though for some reason, he decided to go for an ISO play with 10 seconds left. He could have actually drove to the basket instead of taking a fallaway 3. And there could be a valid argument that that play might have cost the Heat their season, because instead of giving the ball to Davion Mitchell or Andrew Wiggins, who came up big in that fourth quarter, and I think Wiggs hit a couple big threes in overtime, they gave the ball to Tyler Hero, and Tyler Hero tried to freaking, bro, he shot a fall-away 3, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. He shot a fall-away 3, and even though it actually looked like it was going to go in, it was just like, it was a bad play drawn up by Eric Spoelstra. Jaime Jaquez off the bench played 40 minutes, and the guy, yes, he had 13, 6, and 8, but based on what I was watching, the guy was selling on his shots. I mean, there was a point in time in that game, bro, where he missed 3 straight threes. Some of them you could say were contested, too. They weren't really contested, but it was a really light contest, and he kept on missing them. And there was a play in overtime where his only bucket was where he had a fallaway shot, and that was his final bucket of the season, right? But Jaime Jaquez was terrible. I don't know why you didn't play Norman Powell over him. Because Norman Powell, he went 5 for 9, and he hit a three. I believe that was in overtime. And he had 11 points. Don't you think that Norman Powell could have made a world of difference in that game? I don't know why he went for Jaime Jaquez in that situation instead of Norman Powell. Because Norman Powell was about to outscore Jaime by himself off the bench. But for some reason, Eric Spoelstra put him on a leash. Khalil Ware actually had a really good game in place of Bam Adebayo because Bam got hurt on a play where LaMelo Ball grabbed his ankle. Y'all, if y'all watch the game, y'all know what I'm talking about. LaMelo grabs Bam's ankle or grabs Bam's leg as LaMelo was on the ground and Bam was about to take a fall himself. LaMelo grabbed him by his ankle and Bam landed on his tailbone and he had a lower back injury. And I will post a clip of Eric Spoelstra talking about the whole thing, and I will let you guys be the judge of whether y'all think that's a dirty play or not. But Khalil Ware had 12 and 19 with 5 blocks and 5 big-time blocks as well, may I add. But again, it wasn't enough for Miami to win this game because of either A, bad coaching decisions, B, bad shot taking, or bad shot selection, I should say, or it's just bad defensive breakdowns too. So it's a combination of all three. Miles Bridges came up big for the Hornets in OT. Like, Miles was really, really good this whole entire game. He was hitting big shots, but I thought he was really big in that overtime period. And can we get to Kobe White real quick, bro? Kobe White had a 13-point third quarter barrage that made Klay Thompson shaking in his boots. I know Klay wasn't even playing, and obviously he's rotting on the Mavericks, even though I still want the Detroit Pistons to get him. That dream is still alive. I don't care. But he had that type of quarter that I would see a Steph Curry have, Klay, LeBron, those guys. Kobe White was lighting up the Miami Heat from the perimeter, and that fall-away three where it looked like, man, that fall-away three, bro, that he hit to force overtime, albeit it was a really quick shot. It was too quick of a shot, actually. But to his credit, he made it. And it was like, bro, that was just amazing to watch. Like, I'm trying to get my thoughts straight, but it's just like I'm talking about what I'm able to talk about in this video, especially with the Hornets playing game, because I want to get to the Phoenix Suns Blazers playing game because I do have a lot to say about that. Or I may do a separate video and then just post it thereafter. But, man, this game was just absolutely fun to watch. And then in that overtime, man, like, when I saw the Heat missing shots and all that, I think Davion Mitchell hit an air or shot an air ball, and a lot of guys were just, you know, they just simply didn't have it in them. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to say here, I guess, is this. The Heat were trying to play hero ball. The fact that the Heat were trying to play hero ball with Tyler Hero, I could say that cost them the game. But just when I thought Charlotte was pulling away, freaking Tyler Hero hits a fading three deep in the corner, contested, to put the Heat within 2. And then LaMelo turns the ball over, no pun intended, because LaMelo Ball. He turns the ball over, trying to do a jump pass because the Heat were trying to trap him. It was like, what, 19 seconds left or something like that? And then LaMelo tries a jump pass. It gets intercepted. Tyler Hero brings the ball back out for a 3, and LaMelo had one of the more reckless contests. And Tyler Hero shoots 3 shots, and I thought the Charlotte Hornets are cooked. You know what I mean? But LaMelo Ball freaking drives down the lane. I don't know if it was off of a timeout. It was kind of similar to what I saw in Game 5 of the Pacers-Bucks series last year. You know, Giannis had a great game. The Heat were, not the Heat, the Milwaukee Bucks were up 7 in overtime. Giannis had a great game. Gary Trent Jr. had hit like so many big threes in OT, and it looked like the game was over, but Andrew Nembhard hits a big 3, put them within 4. Tyrese Halliburton gets an and-1 because same thing. Gary Trent Jr. tries a jump pass. He turns the ball over, and Gary Trent Jr. turns the ball over again when he received a pass and he just dropped the ball out of bounds, and Tyrese Halliburton gets the game-winning layup. That Heat-Hornets game had so much resemblance to that Pacers-Bucks Game 5 in the first round last year. And that last play from LaMelo, man. First of all, Jaime Jaquez, why are you giving him his right hand? If y'all saw that play, Pelle Larsson was ready to help. And I'll admit that, was he trying to help too much off of Kobe White when Kobe was staying at the 3-point line? and he was a little far away from that. Sure, Pelle Larsson, you could say that that's kind of his fault too. But Jaime, why are you giving LaMelo his right hand, bro? LaMelo read that. He got to the basket and he got a game-winning layup. Davion Mitchell tried to do the same thing, and he ended up getting swatted by either Diabate. No. Miles Bridges blocked his shot, and that was the end of the Miami Heat season, and it was the end of the Heat Hornets playing game. I'm telling y'all, man, that was probably the greatest playing game, the greatest playing game I've ever seen, and you could legit say that that is a game of the year candidate right there. Big shot making from LaMelo, albeit he shot the ball so poorly. And let me say something about Con Knipple. I do not want to hear any slander about that guy. I'm giving him some grace because he is a rookie. And sometimes when you're a rookie, and I'm going to feel that way about a guy like VJ Edgecombe going into the play-in and the playoffs if the 76ers win tonight against the Orlando Magic and they face Boston. I'm not going to expect too much from VJ Edgecombe because he is a rookie and this is a learning experience for him. Same thing with Con Knipple. I think he just hit the proverbial wall. That's what I'm trying to say. He just hit the rookie wall, and none of the shots were falling. And you could tell that there was a bit of jitters in him, and it was just like in these playoff situations, it felt like Charles Lee was asking too much of him, I guess. But Con just shot the ball poorly, and I don't doubt that he'll bounce back. Maybe next game or maybe somewhere in the playoffs as well. But if he doesn't, I'm going to give him some grace because he is a rookie. People got to take it easy on Con. Yes, he shot a lot of bad shots and he had a couple dumb fouls in the fourth quarter, but I'm sure he's aware of that and I'm sure he'll learn from this, not just for the playoffs, but going forward. So I'm giving Con Knipple some grace because, yeah, he shot the ball poorly, but he is a rookie. I'm not expecting that much from him anyway, just like how I'm not expecting a lot from VJ Edgecombe, because I do believe VJ Edgecombe, I think he'll be all right, but that's a whole nother topic. The one thing I did see from the Hornets that I didn't like was a lot of inexperience. And there were points in that game where the Charlotte offense got cold. Now, I don't know if that's more so on Charles Lee and his offensive adjustments, or just LaMelo Ball just jacking up shots, or Con Knipple, like I said, missing shots, or guys getting three happy for whatever reason. There was a point in time, and the Heat were up 7, by the way, too. So the fact that it was a combination of Miami making a lot of mistakes and the Hornets making them pay for it, maybe it does speak about how tough this Charlotte Hornets team really was this whole entire year, especially after starting off the season 4-14, and since January, I believe they have a record of 27-8 or something like that. Some crazy record, right? It was similar to what we saw from the LA Clippers when they started off the season 6-21. Now they end their regular season at 42-40, and they're about to play tonight in their playing game versus the Golden State Warriors. Overall, man, that was such a fun game to watch, but I hope for Miami's sake that this sends a wake-up call to Pat Riley and the front office, because they can't keep running it back with the same roster every year. As much as I am not the biggest Jimmy Butler guy as of late, shout out to Jimmy. I hope he's recovering well from his ACL tear, but I wasn't a big fan of the whole, I lost my joy thing because of how he went about it. Again, if y'all saw that video from a year and a half ago when I made my return to YouTube, I can see why Jimmy Butler left, because if the best you are going to do for Jimmy is a 36-year-old Kyle Lowry and you don't do jack diddly squat else when you were in prime position to get Damian Lillard and you fumbled that trade, yeah, I don't necessarily blame Jimmy for wanting to leave. Hopefully they change that and not just run it back with the same roster like they do every year. I hope they take this offseason seriously, because if not, people are going to call for Pat Riley's job, even though he's not going to step down as a GM for the Miami Heat. And Eric Spoelstra is going to retire when he feels like he's retiring, because he's essentially the Mike Tomlin of the NBA, right? And as we all know, Mikey Tomlin stepped down after 18 seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers after they got waxed in that wild card game. I believe it was against the Houston Texans, if I'm not mistaken. Same thing with Eric Spoelstra. But speaking of Eric Spoelstra, I want to play that clip where he addressed the whole LaMelo Ball injuring Bam thing, and we're going to get back to conclude the video. So take a listen to this.
See it, but I don't think it's cute. I don't think it's funny. I think it's a stupid play. It's a dangerous play. Obviously, our best player is out. I'm not making an excuse. The Hornets played great, and they made those plays down the stretch. We had our opportunities to win. I just, that's a shame. He should be penalized for that. I don't think that belongs in the game. Tripping guys, shenanigans, and Curtis was there. It's his responsibility to see that. And if it's not his responsibility, then Zach's got to see it. If, somebody has got to see that. And that, he should have been thrown out of the game, for that. I don't know him from, anyone. There's no place in the game for that. Obviously, it took Bam out of the game.
So y'all heard what Coach Spo had to say. Obviously, I'm going to address this real quick before I let y'all go. I am happy for the city of Charlotte. I'm happy for all their players. I'm happy for Charles Lee. That city and that team deserves it. Now, I'm not going to take anything away from them. But in that moment, how do you not call something like that, bro? LaMelo was, whether it was intentional or not, that's not even the point here. You cannot simply let that go because he literally injured Bam, whether it was intentional or not. You cannot let a play like that go and just say, you know what, screw it, play on, because it's a bad look for the referees and the league too. And there's definitely a legit argument that if Bam did not go down, the Heat win the game too, because you combine Bam's 83, just kidding, but no, seriously, if you combine Bam's defense and shot blocking and his shot making from the perimeter, especially when he's in the 10-15 foot range, yeah, that is a lot of points that you are missing on the table. And you had to rely on Kel'el Ware, who, again, he did a great job. Davion Mitchell did a great job. Andrew Wiggins did a great job as well. And then Tyler Hero, he did hit some big shots in overtime to his credit, even after he took one of the dumbest shots I've ever seen a guy take in a game, at least one of them. But regardless, yeah, there is a valid argument that that play also cost the Heat their season too. The fact that Bam got hurt and they didn't call anything, and they just decided to play on for some odd reason, right? So, I don't know, man. Maybe the Hornets will have won either way. I don't know. That remains to be seen. They still lost the game. But, man, there's a lot to talk about. I wish I can talk about the Portland Trailblazers Phoenix Suns game. I might make that a separate video, or I may make a separate video just clowning the Suns like I used to back in the good old days if the Suns end up losing their 7th spot, or now their number 8 spot to the LA Clippers, because I do believe they will win tonight. But what do y'all think of this game, man? Do you guys think the Hornets deserve it or not? Do you guys think Miami was robbed because of the whole Bam injury or whatever the heck? And what do you guys think of the Charlotte Hornets? Do you guys think they're actually going to claim the 8th spot from either Philly or Orlando? Or do you think it's just going to be one of those games where it's just like, man, they just tired themselves out from what they did on yesterday, right? So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. More videos coming soon. More face cam videos coming soon, especially for the playoffs. Y'all know the shizzle my nizzle. That's the end of this video. I'm X. Deuces.